Hey everyone, it's the Incendiary here along with Greg Tastic, and welcome to the first official episode of Newb Perspective. How's it going over there?
I'm good. Ready to go.
Ready to go? Ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's lots to talk about. Some of the topics here are a little bit older because it's taken us a little bit to kind of get this going. But first, I guess, let's talk about anything that we're playing or watching right now. Do you have anything that's on your mind as far as stuff you've seen or played recently?
I haven't really been playing anything. Been just mostly watching stuff. But
Anything interesting?
all Pokemon related.
Pokemon related shows?
YouTube stuff. We already talked about this.
Oh, okay. Anything you'd like to share with the group?
No, not really. Just I played through most of Sword and Shield, and now I'm a little lazy and don't want to finish it, so I've just been watching other people play through up until the point I got at, seeing what they do or notice different than what I noticed as I was going through.
Is there any reason that you stopped where you did?
No, just I don't really always chug through the games. There's a lot of ebb and flow with the way I play video games.
Right. Okay.
The game didn't upset me or anything.
Well, I don't want you to get mad at it, so.
No, I'm just saying I just took a break and haven't gotten back to it yet.
Okay.
But it didn't do anything wrong.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk to you about that because you and I have talked, I guess, offline about, these. Which one do you have? Shield, right?
Yeah.
Not that it really matters, but.
It does matter, actually. I didn't know that. That's another thing I found out today. Is that
I don't want to find out.
There's so every Pokemon game has 8 gyms.
Right.
But so I was watching a YouTuber play, who I'll leave unnamed for political reasons. I was watching a YouTuber play Sword, and I'm like looking at the gym he's in. I'm like, this reminds me of a gym that I went through, but instead of it being a snow gym, it's like a sand gym.
Oh, is it
And I'm
weather
like,
based?
so I Google are there different gyms in Sword and Shield? And so basically, like at first, people thought there were going to be 18 gyms in the game. So what happened is it was actually a miscommunication where they, I guess, made 18 gyms for the game, and the gyms that you encounter are sort of different based on which version of the game you buy, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I guess if you have Sword or Shield, it's not like Red or Blue where it's the same game minus the different Pokemon. There's actually legitimate differences in the game where you're not going to be facing the same gym leaders
or types, I guess.
Gyms.
Right?
Yeah, types too.
Interesting. Yeah. Is there
I was only like half paying attention when he did that gym, so I wasn't really sure like was this completely different gym leader? Like I'm assuming that towns still have to be the same.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Or maybe not.
But I don't yeah, maybe not. I don't understand. Like I don't know what I was watching.
So is it actually
I just remember
18?
From what I read.
Total? So you have 2 sets of 8, and then there's like
and
2 variations?
One extra. I don't know.
Interesting.
I just know that like I remember going through the game. There's like one of the gyms has a gym challenge where you're supposed to use some detection device to tell where there's gonna be like parts of the floor that are gonna fall through and you're gonna fall through.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
So
other games.
In the gym that I did it in, it was a snow level. Right. Like you're going through the snow and parts of the ice would break. But this dude, he was going through a sand one where parts of the sand would break down. And I'm like, all right, so this is like the same gym challenge.
Just a different costume,
yeah. I don't know. So I need to educate myself more on it, I guess. But my question is, which I wasn't really paying attention to, I was like half watching the stream, is I'm sure the town I was in must have been like a snow town for it to have that challenge. So like, did he have a different town or just do the
different weather?
I know there was a sand-ish like kind of town that I went to, but that just wasn't. I don't think that was the challenge that I had. So maybe maybe it took like one challenge from the other town and gave it to that one, or I don't know. Who knows what the fuck they're doing?
So do all the
Trying to
gyms have challenges like that?
some type of challenge. Yeah, some of them are just like literally battling people like how the regular games are, but most of them, I'd say at least half of them have like some type of environmental or weird challenge that doesn't have anything to do with battling.
Is there like my question is, do we really need that though? Isn't it, obviously the gyms are the big thing in all the Pokemon games, and there's story going on and all that kind of stuff, and you're collecting who you're collecting. But being somebody that hasn't played a
It didn't
mainline,
bother me.
really, I just don't think.
No, I can't. It threw me off. The first gym that I did had you like herding the sheep Pokemon,
Yeah, you told me about that. I don't
and
understand why we need that.
it threw me off. But like it was easy enough that it didn't bother me. Like it doesn't take a lot of time.
Right.
And the challenges got, I would say, a little better as you went along. The like whole detect where the floor is gonna fall through thing is kind of useless because if you fall through the floor, it just sends you back to where you started, and but now you could see where the floor is gonna fall through.
Not, yeah,
So eventually, you fall through enough where you just know which
you
way
can
to
walk
go.
through.
So
Do they always have to
it's
do with
not
the type of Pokemon that are in that gym, at least, or?
the yeah, it deals with like the elemental whatever element that gym leader's using.
Mm-hmm.
But there are at least a few of them where you don't really do a challenge like that. You just battle people.
Like you would
Like
normally.
there's one where like the gimmick is you got to battle three people before you face the gym leader, but it's three 2v2 battles.
Okay.
And then there's one where you're just walking down the street to the gym and like people keep coming up to you to battle you as you're going.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm
And nothing.
I'm open to it. Don't get me wrong, but it
The
seems like it's
only
a big
the
departure.
only part. No, the only part of there was no the only part of the games that kind of pissed me off where I was like, oh, this is cheap or this doesn't make any sense is when you're fighting like you have the dens where the Dynamax Pokemon are that you could catch, and if you don't have if you're not going online and linking up with people that you know to fight those Pokemon, it could be kind of cheap because they get like shields where like you don't do damage to their HP and you got to break down the
Right, because
shield
you're supposed
before
to
you
do it
get
with
that,
other people.
and it's only so many turns that you could get before it knocks you out of the den. There's a lot of cheap stuff with that, but besides for that, nothing else about the game really.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a kid's game. Still is relatively easy compared to other
Well,
games,
sure,
but
yeah, but it has that appeal, that multi-generational, because you're talking, we're people that grew up with the original Pokemon games coming out, and you're talking there's a generation before us and a generation before that that's playing these now. So, it still clearly appeals to us and, and older people too. I don't know that there's many people, in their 50s and 60s that are playing Pokemon, but maybe in their 40s. Um, but as somebody that's not played like a mainstream Pokemon game since Diamond or Pearl, it's some of the changes that they made have been, really interesting. Some of the stuff I don't know if we need, but
gimmicky.
I don't know if it's gimmicks.
Some
I don't know enough about it to know whether it's gimmicks or not. I haven't, up until these two games, coming out, I really didn't watch much or like read much about them because I didn't have a Switch at the time and I didn't plan on getting one. But last year I finally got one. Um, but I guess we can get into it. But I was not happy, like a lot of people weren't happy to see that all the Pokemon weren't included right off the bat. But that's something I could go on and on about forever. But I
Yeah, I mean, as the games go on, they make them easier, more accessible. So it's like things that stand up in my mind as the years have gone on is eventually, um, when you first started playing the game, it's real strict about if you forget a move, you're not going to learn it back.
right.
If you use it TM, you can't reteach things, and the TMs were like one use and then you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So you
All
have to be
right.
like
Yeah.
really careful about like how do I want to treat these Pokemon. To where as time went on, you could remember moves that you forgot.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
You could use TMs multiple
Mm-hmm.
times. So eventually, where they got rid of HMs and they made it like something outside of your move set, to this game where HMs like are not even a part of the game. Some of the HMs like fly, surf, whatever, they're still in the game, but they're TMs and they have nothing to do with the environment. I actually like it a lot better.
Hmm.
Like if like the cut, oh my God, cut is the stupidest fucking game mechanic you could ever invent. Like you gotta learn to move just to cut trees down, and then you go to a little scene where it shows you cutting the tree down and waste your time.
Right. It was kind of a
Now
pain. Yeah.
there's no trees in your way. Basically, water is an obstacle, and eventually your bike could uh ride on the water.
What?
And if you want to fly city to city, there's like a taxi service that one of the flying Pokemon, Corviknight, will fly you city to city, and you
Okay.
don't have to waste your Pokemon's slots. Like, I understand the strategy of it. Yes, it makes the game harder. Yes, there's more strategy. What Pokemon am I going to teach these moves to? Am I going to have an HM slave that just knows all the
Right. That's
moves?
what
And
it
like,
devolved
but
towards now. Yeah.
I would rather just have, you know, I'd rather just the Pokemon be who they are and learn the moves that they learn and not have to worry about, okay, how do I traverse the environment? And
Hmm.
especially shit like light, remember light,
Flash. Yeah.
flash.
Well, what they
Yeah,
were
like
was
that's
they
so
were
useless. Like
progress barriers, though. There was a
I
tree and you need to
understand,
cut
but
for it because they wanted you to
you
progress
could
past a certain point. You know.
you could do that without wasting the
That's true.
Pokemon
Yeah. Put a
moves.
guy in the way that doesn't move until
You
you
could
beat
say,
something.
okay,
Right.
now, and they do that in this game a lot, and people make fun of it. Like there's no Team Rocket in this game, but there's like a Team Yell. They're basically just a club of one of your rivals,
Okay.
and they'll always stand in your way until you get to where you're supposed to be. But it's like still, even like, okay, Flash, like why can't you just have a candle or a torch, like
Right.
that the player uses as opposed to having to
That you
take up
get at a certain point. Right.
at
Like an
least
RPG.
cut
Right.
did some kind of damage and was strong against certain Pokemon. Surf was a great move. Fly was a
Well,
great
Flash
move
was just an
because
accuracy thing, right? It would lower the
Flash sucked. It
accuracy.
was useless. It was useless, and it's just so you could light up a cave. I know people, including me, who would try and go through the caves without
Oh no, I wouldn't
Flash.
do
Just
that.
look up. Oh yeah, just look up the direction you're supposed to go and go through it. Why waste a fucking move slot on Flash? Like
Right. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I think quality of life stuff like that, is definitely necessary. Just like every game, a lot of game series that have stood the test of time have kind of done that. But like some of the stuff they've added is just above my head. Like we were talking about, like the Dynamax stuff and like the Gigantamax. Like I don't know what that is, just because I'm not in it. So I can't really judge it so much. But
Dynamax is just some shit where your Pokemon gets bigger and more stronger. The HP goes up temporarily, your stats go up temporarily, your moves change, and the Pokemon gets bigger. There's like I'm not gonna spoil anyone's potential playthrough of
right,
the
don't
game,
spoil mine. Right?
but there's like storyline that explains
Oh, the
why
reason
this is
for it.
happening.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just like Mega Evolution, there's
Yeah, I don't know
storyline
about
that
that either.
explains
Yeah.
it, but to me, I just don't understand. Like Mega Evolution and Dynamax seem functionally the same. So why do you need to? Why couldn't you have introduced something else or progressed the Mega Evolution that you already had? Like I don't know,
You think it's redundant? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but I mean, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't upset me, but it wastes some time because every time you Dynamax a Pokemon, there's like a little cutscene that you have to play and stuff. Like I'm the type of person I'll turn off battle animations and all that. Like I just want to get through the
Yeah, I
game.
usually do. After I play it for a little while, I
Yeah,
usually turn
once
that
you've
off once I see
seen
what
the
they look
move
like.
once,
Right.
yeah, you're good. Like
Right. Okay. I mean, that's the base game. So I wanted to, because you and I have kind of talked about it, I wanted to kind of see, your summary of it. But the DLC, the first DLC for Sword and Shield came out. It's called Isle of Armor, and it came out just last week on the 17th of June. So I don't know if you know much about it, but I kind of wanted to run through
I
what the stuff
I haven't
is.
played it, but I've been watching
Uh-huh.
people play it, and
There's some complaints about it. It's light on
does it look
story and
worth
stuff.
$30?
Is that what it is? $30?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really. it adds some new Pokemon and adds a new area. There is like a little bit of story and stuff that you could
Hmm.
do. Do I really feel like it's a $30 expansion when you're already like look at it, I see it this way. Pokemon historically has been a $40 game. Now you're paying $60 for the Switch game basically because it's on the Switch. And have they done that much really to make it worth an extra
No,
twenty
if anything, they've
dollars?
taken things out, and I'm not going to get
Yeah, and
into it now because I don't want to get upset.
so you're already paying a 20 extra dollars for the game, and
Plus
then
30 to get back to where you would be
yeah,
at a $40 game.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna look at it that way.
Oh, I look at it that way.
I'm just gonna say that if you look at how much other companies are charging for expansions, whether it be Fallout or Borderlands, like
Or
how much they're
games that charge
charging.
nothing for updates.
Yeah, how much they're charging for DLC versus what Pokemon is going to give you for $30. There is a Nintendo tax there, a big one.
There's a Pokemon tax too, which is the
Yeah,
$20 that you
well,
spend extra, or maybe
I
it's
guess
10
it's
and 10.
a $10 DLC with a $10 Nintendo tax and a $10
Right.
Pokemon
So
tax.
here's the breakdown, and again, I haven't played it, so I wanted to run it past you. Just the breakdown of different stuff that was added. They added some new characters. I don't know who these people are. Mustard, Honey. I don't know.
Oh, don't worry, it's
I don't.
I don't want to spoil anyone
Okay.
who's
Well,
gonna
I'm just
play.
yeah. I mean, this is public stuff, but
There's no major characters that are
yeah, that's understandable because you have the base game and that's whatever. So
like there is a new story that I mean per se. There are new characters
okay.
per se, but it's very much like it's not really a continuation of the story from the game. It's like its
It's
own
its own
little,
thing. I'm okay with that. That's
as
fine.
far as I can tell, it's its own little solo thing, and it's not bad. Just I don't know, $30. Now you're $90 in for the game.
Right. Um. So what else we got here? So they patched the game for everybody so that even people that don't purchase the expansion can see and I guess trade or bring in from Pokemon Home all the new Pokemon they added. I'll talk
Well,
about that in a second.
that should be it's not something that we should be patting anyone on the back for.
Right. Like I said, you and I have talked about it, ad nauseum at this point for months and months. Legendary Pokemon, I'm not going to say who they are. 2 legendary Pokemon and, oh no, it's 3. Okay, mythical Pokemon. So 2 legendary and a mythical. And then you can get a Galarian Slowbro, which I guess looks different. And over 100 old Pokemon added. So I don't know how many. I guess it has its own Pokedex. Oh, there's 210 of them? 211 that they added? If I'm reading this right. So it's quite a few. It's quite a few Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 that I'm looking through. Some of them, I don't recognize, but most of them, I just don't understand how you don't include Slowpoke in the base game.
He's in the game at the beginning of the game. You just can't catch him.
Slowpoke, I mean, I'll
So
go through.
it wasn't a model issue because
He's there.
there's like this little scene in, like an hour into the game where he shows up.
Slowpoke, Chansey, and that family. Jigglypuff and that family. So Jigglypuff can be in Smash Brothers, no problem, but they can't put it in the actual base game. Shinx, which is Gen 5. I used to use that. Abra, which is like one of the basic Pokemon. Tentacool, Lickitung. Like I said, I'm just going through for, Tangela, Staryu. Dedenne or Deden, I guess it is, the one that kind of looks like Raichu. Magnemite. I mean, there's a ton here that I just don't understand. Marill,
It's
which was
not
the
it.
first Gen 2 Pokemon that was basically like shown. Psyduck. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't know how Sandshrew, Marowak, and Cubone. Yeah, I just don't know how do you go through and pick the ones, I guess, but like, why did you have to pick in the first place? And like I said, I'm not going to get into it because I know I'm going to get angry because I just don't think it was fair to set a precedent for the better part of it's like over 20 years to say that everything that we're putting out has all the retroactive, all the previous stuff in it retroactively. And then to say, nope, we're going to start fresh, and here's what we're going to do, and we're going to give you the new stuff, we're going to give you some of the old stuff. And putting aside the fact that it's being charged for, I'm not even going to go in that direction, because if it's included or not included, if it's included eventually or not included, that means that it was part of the plan to begin with. That means that somebody sat down at a table and they said, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. We're going to not give them the whole package. And that, to me, is a slap in the face to everybody that's played these games since 1998 or before. I just don't know how you can justify, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe, somebody wants to say something and, try to win me over, but I'd love to hear the opinion. But, in my opinion, it's a slap in the face to people that, that you buy Pokemon and here's what you expect. You know what to expect when you buy a Pokemon game. But they strip things out, and be it for whatever reason, they didn't have enough time. They wanted to avoid the crunch. I mean, that's fine. But to me, I would say delay the game a year so you can send it out and do it the right way, because the way they released it to me was not the right way. And I haven't played it, but I'm not a big fan of what they did, because it was a conscious decision from the drawing board, in my opinion. So I don't know what you think, but that's kind of where I'm at, is that from the very beginning they were in on it,
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think playing through the game, you're not missing the Pokemon necessarily.
Right,
Look,
because there's other stuff going on. I get it.
I don't know how many Pokemon they're up to, but what is it, 700, 800
It's
at
like
this
I think
point?
in the
Like,
900s, I believe.
yeah, so it's like if you're taking the game for what it is, like, you're gonna find something that you like or something that you could use, and you're not gonna really think about what you're missing.
Right, I guess so. I mean,
And like, let's be honest, most of the Pokemon are the same as each other
right, and there's a
with
bunch of trash tier
with
Pokemon. Like, let's
different
be real, but there's somebody out there,
like,
everywhere,
look,
that loves every
if
single
your
Pokemon.
favorite, yeah, okay, but look, my favorite starter, we're all these generations in, my favorite starter Pokemon is still Charmander.
Right, I know that. Yeah,
That's still
and
my
I love
favorite.
Squirtle, so right.
Whatever, that's still my favorite starter line.
But he's in the
Okay,
game.
but no, he is actually.
Okay.
I don't think you could catch him, but I think you could import him from the start. And I think when they put up Pokemon Home, someone lets you choose Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur,
So you can at
and you
least
get
get
them.
right.
Yeah, but regardless of all that, the point is that, okay, my favorite Pokemon is Charmander, but every fire Pokemon starter, how much different are they? Like,
No, right. Yeah, they all have
you're
that
still
physical
gonna,
move. They all have
if
Leer
you,
or whatever.
yeah, they're not
Right.
gonna look like Charmander, and their move set might be a little different, and they may be a little better or worse at this or that.
Or
But
they have a
if your
secondary
favorite
type. Right.
Pokemon's Charmander, you could still pick a fire Pokemon and go through the game, and it's gonna be the same experience. It's just like nostalgia that makes you want
Right,
Charmander.
but it's almost like it's a bad comparison maybe, but I would compare it to like a sports game. If I'm playing a sports game, I want to play as my favorite player. And let's say they come out with like,
Yeah, but your favorite players retire.
well, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I still,
So your
but
favorite player 20 years ago might have been Curtis Martin, but Curtis Martin
oh, it was
doesn't play
never
for the
Curtis Martin.
NFL but he doesn't play for the NFL anymore.
Right. No,
I
he's
was
a good
just trying
guy.
to
Don't
think
get me
of a
wrong, but
Jet as Chad Pennington. I was trying to think of a Jet as quick as I could.
yeah,
But
Pennington, Testaverde, yeah. Well, I get that, but at the
but
same time, I
so
don't
now
play a
20
video
years
game
later,
for what's new. I play a video game to go back.
yeah, well, you can't play Madden 21 and play as, Chad Pennington.
I think
And
you should.
I
You
know
should
it's
be able to. You
different.
can download
I
rosters and
know
stuff of the old teams.
I know it's different comparing Pokemon to a sports game, but
I'm just saying, like, if you want to play who you
they're
want to
trying to
play,
offer you a different experience. They don't want,
they don't
like,
want the same thing over and over. But the Pokemon fans want the same thing over and over. I would argue. I want to be able to say,
I think if you look, here's where I'm going to ask you to suspend judgment.
okay,
If you play the game
that's the big thing. I have to
and
play it.
and let me know, like, play the game and then let me know, did
If I'm missing something.
Pokemon X, Y, and Z not being in there stop you from
No,
enjoying
I
the
don't
game?
think it'll hinder the experience, but I think it's
Like the idea of, are they going to make extra money by doing it how they're doing it is still valid, but like the actual enjoyment of the game
doesn't suffer.
is irrelevant to,
Okay,
you
I'm
know.
willing to meet you there for sure. I just think the
I never,
foundation of what they did was
look, like,
not found.
I would be the first person to sit here and say they're fucked up for doing this, but I never the whole time I was playing the game, and I haven't beaten it yet, but I've gotten through the 8 gyms and up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I've put like 20 or 30 hours into playing the game. The whole time I was playing it, I never said, "Oh, I wish this Pokemon was there or
Did you
that
make
Pokemon was there."
comparisons to like you said, like okay, outside of the starters, like if you saw a Pokemon that looked or acted like one, did you make a comparison and
Not,
say, oh, well, I
not
remember this
really,
guy's like this guy?
not really.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only Pokemon, look, the only Pokemon when I play a Pokemon game, the Pokemon my go-tos are Charmander. I'm gonna get a Magikarp and evolve it into Gyarados.
All right.
Magikarp was in the game, so you know.
Okay.
I like Ghastly and that whole line, the Ghastly, Haunter,
Yeah, they
Gengar.
have good stats. Or they used to.
Ghastly was in the game, and I didn't end up using him. And
Mm-hmm.
Abra is my other one.
He wasn't there.
Abra was not in the game, and I didn't miss him. I went with a different. I always need a psychic Pokemon, but actually, I went with Ponyta because Ponyta is a like a I don't know if it's psychic
Uh,
fairy or if it's just fairy, but
oh, it's gotta
it's
be
not a
fire or
fire.
fairy, right?
It's
I think
not
it's
fire. No, it's not fire at all.
Ponyta's
It's
not a
like
fire Pokemon in that region.
no, no,
See,
it's like
that's another
psychic.
thing is I think you're getting a little
I'm
bit too
fine with that.
crazy.
No,
I
I'm
don't
fine
like
with
that
that.
idea now because
It offers like a different because like
then make a new
playing.
Pokemon. I don't care about that.
No, I like it because playing on the nostalgia. Okay, the whole thing is like every region you go into, the Pokemon are different for these reasons. So that makes sense to me,
I
and it plays on the nostalgia where it's like I never used Ponyta as a fire Pokemon.
but now
There
you
were
use
other fire
him
Pokemon I
more.
liked, but now that it's a psychic fairy, I'm like, let me give it a chance, and I like it, and it's a
Okay,
good.
I can see that.
It's a pretty strong Pokemon.
It's
I like
it's an
using it,
old
but I
tool
would
with new
never use it
uses,
as a
right?
fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would never use it as a fire Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that, but at the same time, if I go in and I see Ponyta or whatever Pokemon, and I say, "Oh, that's my
Yeah, well, it
favorite
looks
fire
totally
type of all
different. It
time," and
looks
then
like
I'm
a
pissed off.
rainbow. It looks like a rainbow unicorn.
Yeah,
So
I've seen like the mane is all different or whatever. But what? Okay,
I
so
don't
what
want to.
about this? What if you went into the game and Charmander was a different type? Charmander was fighting or something. Would you be pissed off?
Probably not. I don't think they would ever do that to Charmander. I think
Oh,
they would only
nobody
do
thought
it
they
to
would do that to
Pokemon.
Ponyta.
Yeah, well, I think the point is that they would only do it to Pokemon that are probably researched to be less interesting
I
than
think
other
Ponyta is
Pokemon.
pretty popular. If you ranked all of them, I would say it's probably in the
No,
top
well,
50.
look. Here's Charmander. Charizard is when they did Mega Evolutions. Charizard was like the poster boy for
Right, it was
Mega
the
Evolution
first big one, right?
because he's one of the most popular
Yes. Oh,
Pokemon in the
absolutely.
game.
Yeah.
Ponyta, I'm sure people love Ponyta. That's great, but if you like, even take the first 151 or whatever,
Yeah.
Ponyta's gonna rank very low in that.
I don't know. I think it's in
It's
the top
already
half
not.
at least.
It's already not going to be top 10 because the three starters are going to take up
That's 9 spots,
9 of the
right? You got
top 10
Mewtwo and
positions,
Mew, right? No,
basically.
I would say it's in the
Yeah.
top 75.
Then you got. I would say. I like Ghastly. I would say Ghastly in that line is
Gengar.
going to be
Well,
more popular than
yeah.
Ponyta. I would say Abra in that line is going to be more popular than Ponyta. Pikachu and Raichu are going to be more popular than Ponyta. Uh, Lapras would probably be more popular.
Well,
The elemental birds would be more popular. It's very easy to go through and name half of the Pokemon that are
right.
more
But that's
popular
what
than.
I'm saying is it would be in the top
As a
75.
fire Pokemon, who what do you think's more popular? Probably Growlithe or
Arcanine? I think they're about the
Arcanine
same,
or
probably.
Ponyta and Rapidash. I would say Growlithe is probably more popular.
I would say it's
Then you
got to be
have
close.
Ninetales.
And Vulpix,
What's
yeah.
the Yeah, probably about I would say
Yeah,
even. They're
I
probably
think
like the
all three
same.
of those sets of two are about the same, but
Magmar, I would say Magmar is more popular than Ponyta
maybe,
as a
yeah.
fire Pokemon. Then you have Eevee and all its evolutions are going to
Flareon's
be more
definitely more
popular.
popular.
So yeah, so
No, I
it's
see your point. It's
it's
less
like giving a
risky. Right.
new spin on a Pokemon that probably not saying it's a bad Pokemon, but it kind of fits in with the crowd. Now you're giving a new spin on it and giving people another reason to look at it
Mm-hmm.
and try and use it.
I just know I mean, you can't make everybody happy, but I know there's going to be people that go in disappointed. And again, the game's been out for a while now, so maybe it's a moot point, and it's
No, because you could still probably get the regular Ponyta if you
that I
want.
don't know. I mean, I'm
You can't catch it in this region, but I'm sure you could probably
bring it in as its old
import it
self.
or trade for it or something.
Yeah, that I don't know. So as somebody that hasn't played, again, I'm going to say it again. I haven't played the past several generations. I would like to get back into it, but I'd like to get back into it where I stopped. I don't know if I would want to make this huge jump because I kind of, when I miss, pieces of a series, I like to see the building blocks that, brought us to where we are now. Well, I mean, one example
I
is
mean,
Animal
this is
Crossing.
relatively new. Sun and Moon are the first games where they really said the Pokemon are different based on the region,
Right, I know,
and it
but there's
was
been
more it
other.
was it was more based on their looks.
Right.
Look, the fucking Meowth of the Galar region evolves into like is basically evolves into a Meowth with instead of evolving into a Persian, which is like a more exotic looking cat.
Right.
It still looks like Meowth, and it just adds like a big ass gray beard on its
So it's
face.
not Persian.
No, it's called like Berserker,
So
and
it's
it's
a third
basically
evolution.
no, it's
It's an offshoot.
Galar Meowth evolves into Berserker instead of Persian, and it still just basically looks like Meowth with like an old man's
That's
beard
weird. I
on its
don't know.
face.
I don't
Yeah,
know if that's like
that
due to
one
a
I don't
lack of
like.
ideas. I don't know. But what I started to say was that I mean the most recent Animal Crossing that came out. You've seen how much I probably have almost put 200 hours into that game. And like the last week or two, I've kind of taken a break from it because I was playing multiple hours every single day. Um, just trying to do the things that I wanted to do. But I haven't played an Animal Crossing since New Leaf, which was the DS one. So I missed out on, everything that's coming between there. Um, so seeing all the changes that were from, I mean, there weren't very many, and they did a lot new in this game. But seeing all the changes, I was kind of like, struck by that. I said, wow, they've changed a lot. They made it a lot more accessible and easier and stuff. And that wasn't even a lot of changes. But to go to Sword and Shield now, having most recently played Diamond and Pearl, I mean, you're talking, that's like 10 years. That's like, what, 4 generations or something? Um,
Yeah, you're missing a lot, but I would say a lot of the stuff that you're missing is irrelevant.
oh, because it's
So like
changed and changed back
Mega,
once or twice.
yeah, so like Mega Evolution no longer Mega Evolution isn't in this game. So if you missed X and Y
No big deal.
and Sun and Moon, then
But what
or
I want
Mega
to see is all the
Evolution might have
Pokemon.
been in Alpha, Sapphire, Ruby, whatever they called all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I mean, I like to be able to see and like not meet the Pokemon, but like get to know the Pokemon, which ones work great in which situation and where they are, and the different move sets and stuff like that. And I've always liked that every single generation. I like to play the crap out of whatever games are there, and then go forward. So this one being kind of a smattering of gens. What I don't know what generation this is, 8 or whatever.
Yeah, 8.
Um, being a smattering of all the Pokemon from 1 through 7, yeah, I'm gonna get all the ones 1 through 5, but 6 and 7 and the 8 ones are gonna be new, but 6 and 7 I'm gonna be, just shocked. So in a way, for me, it's almost like they didn't take a lot out because I haven't seen, 2 generations
Well,
worth. But
the first time you face a Pokemon, you're gonna be like, "Oh, what's this? What do I
oh,
do?
I
What
love that
type is
feeling.
it?
Yeah, I don't know what it
This and
is, what
that."
it does.
But then after you face a Pokemon the first time, like in this game, it's straight up like when you go through your moves, picking what move you want, it straight up
Yeah,
says
you told me about
effective,
that.
not effective, super effective. So
I think that makes it a little bit too. I mean, the game almost plays itself in that.
the only reason I think that I like that is because now there's so many
You
Pokemon
shouldn't have to remember,
that
right?
I find it hard to
But that's
remember.
what it was. I
Like
mean,
when they're like, "Oh, this Pokemon's about to come out. Do you want to switch?" There's a lot of Pokemon like unless I've seen them recently, I'm like, "Well, I don't remember what type that Pokemon
right?
is."
So you
Like,
kind of get screwed out of a turn or two, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a thin line between what we had to go through, you know, big deal, but we had to go through, memorize these 151 and know what's what and know what works, and then you had another 100 added, and then you had another 139 added or whatever it
yeah,
was.
once we got out of Gold and Silver, I stopped being able to keep track of all the Pokemon.
I don't.
I'm sure
Yeah,
like if you're young and you're growing up with it, like we grew up through Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, basically. You know, like
Yeah, Ruby and
not that
Sapphire were still,
not that
we were
we were
teenagers at that
adults
point.
when the other games came out, but it's like as a child, like who's gonna sit there and play this game for hundreds of hours on end and not like be on summer vacation and not be at school and just literally do nothing but play
But I
Pokemon all
did,
summer?
yeah.
Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, and then after that, it's harder to remember everything because it's like you're more of a casual
Yeah, I
player,
played a
and
lot
like
of Sapphire though.
even if you're gonna sink all the hours in, you're not gonna do it like 100 hours over 2 weeks because you don't have school or work to go to and you're gonna play it
Right. No,
all.
I get you.
Like
Yeah, I'd like to see them turn off some of the convenience features like that, or give you the option.
I think that's what most games should do is give you the option to everything. Because like a lot of games that come out now, there's like I forget what game it was. There's a game where they basically let you customize your HUD, and so
Hmm.
like it's your HUD, but you're basically turning on and off options that make your
That
life
they already have
easier
built
or
in.
harder.
Yeah, if you want it or
Yeah,
not,
but
right?
they let you choose what you want, and I think that's how most games should be. Like I think even Pokemon, like now they give you experience to everyone in your party, whether they come in the
Oh, is that
battle or
true?
not. Yeah, which I actually like because I don't have the time to sit there and grind Pokemon nonstop. But
You should have
I
the
think
option.
when they first introduced that option, it was as experience share,
Or EXP
and you
all,
could
right? Yeah.
and you could choose to use it or not. Well, yeah, they first introduced it where you gave it to one
One,
Pokemon
and then it was everybody. Yeah, right.
and then let you turn it on and off for everyone. Why not just let you turn it on and off for everyone?
Yeah, and I don't see any problem with that.
I would still leave it on because yeah, you don't get the same connection with the Pokemon when you're sitting there grinding them
And
out
they're just sitting
for
there.
hours.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to spend time grinding
Right, and I would
Pokemon
probably
like
do the
that.
opposite. I would be the one that would grind through because once I make a decision on somebody, I'm like, okay, well, you're going to be the one that I'm going to, get to that high level. So yeah, I think the options are important. So just go
Because
through.
like the whole like think of like I when I look at those types of features, I Magikarp is my like main example of how things change. Because every for some reason every game has Magikarp at the beginning,
The
and it's
beginning of
like
what?
you used at the beginning of the game you could get a Magikarp somehow, some way, fish,
Yeah, I
buy
guess it's a
it,
running joke.
catch it, whatever. So like in Red and Blue, uh, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't in Gold and Silver right at the
You got the
beginning, but
old rod. I think you could catch Magikarp early.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think every game you could catch it pretty early. So it's like at the beginning you had to catch it and then throw it in as the first party member and take it out and put someone else in,
All right.
which is
Get it
like
up to level
it
20.
works,
Right.
but it's annoying. It's aggravating. Then as time went on, you could eventually give it the experience share, and then as time went on, you just throw it in your party and it gets experience just for being there. So like yeah, it becomes more of like a joke that you could really kind of get it to Gyarados pretty quickly at level 20 without doing anything. But do I also want to go back to having to throw it in for the first part of the battle just to take it out and get it the experience? Like, yeah, it's more challenging, but is it fun? Is it doing anything to enhance your
Right.
playing of the
No,
game?
I'm with you. Right. Yeah. I'd just like to have the option with stuff like that. So maybe that's something they could patch in pretty easily. I would think, but I'm sure there's other examples of that, but again, having not played the game, I don't know. Let me just go through the rest of these here. New Gigantamax forms for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Pokemon. We kind of talked about that. You can feed the Pokemon traveling in your party Max Soup, which gives them the
Mm,
ability to Gigantamax, but only Pokemon with known Gigantamax forms at the time of Isle of Armor's release will work with that. So
yeah,
that's
so
all
there,
not English to me, so you gotta explain
there's
to me.
like a whole Pokemon camp feature where you can all right, well, let me start at the beginning for people that don't have any fucking clue.
That's me, right?
In the game, you Dynamax your Pokemon. You basically make them bigger and stronger. It just enlarges the sprite of the Pokemon, and it looks bigger.
But it's temporary,
Yeah,
right?
Gigantamax is the same thing, except what differentiates a Gigantamax Pokemon from a Dynamax Pokemon is a Gigantamax Pokemon has Now, if there's more to it, then I'm sorry. Maybe they're more powerful or something. I don't know. But the basic difference that I got is our Gigantamax Pokemon has a custom sprite that looks different.
Okay.
So, like Gengar has a Gigantamax form where basically instead of turning into a giant Gengar, it looks like, how do I explain this? Do you know when you go to a carnival and they have like the doors that like the clown doors you walk through,
Yeah.
where like three-quarters of it is above the ground is like a clown door,
Or I think I've seen this. Yeah,
and
I
the
think it kind of
bottom of
looks
the
like that.
clown door's face is like below the ground,
Right.
not literally, but Gengar basically looks like that. Like,
Weird.
but three-quarters of it is like huge above the ground, and like the other quarter is below the ground, and it looks like a clown door basically to me. But that's not what it looks like when you normally play as it. Now, Pokemon Camp in the game is basically I use this feature like twice, and thank God you don't actually have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you could set up a camp for your Pokemon, and they all get out of their balls and run around and play. And you could call them over to play with you. You could use a pot to cook them food. It was basically taken from Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you make all these different
Right. Well,
curries
they.
and
Oh,
stuff.
really? They had the berry thing way
And
back. That's.
yeah, well, you use the berries and there's other ingredients, and
Oh.
it pissed me off, so I never used it. It like heals your Pokemon, like, but I'd rather just buy potions and use the potions.
Okay.
So,
And that levels them
and
up. Like
I
gets them
guess
to like you more, or what is that? What's the point?
gets them to like you more, and you could use it to heal them, and maybe it has like certain stat boosts. But you could like very easily like what is it, EV or IV train? EV train,
Well, there's
right?
two. Yeah, I forget what.
Yeah, well, both of them. You can very easily train the stats up on your Pokemon. They have like these job things where basically lose access to your Pokemon for a day because you let them go do a job somewhere, but it increases their stats. And after
Mm-hmm.
like, you could like literally just perfectly train all your Pokemon if you keep sending them off.
Okay.
But anyway, what the stuff you just talked about is basically, I
The
guess
soup.
they're saying that some Pokemon may have a Gigantamax form but don't have access to it. So you feeding them the soup is going to grant them access to their Gigantamax
How would
form.
they normally get access to it?
There's probably like a random. I could be
Oh, it's not
wrong.
level based or
I
something.
would guess maybe it's like a randomizer. Like certain Pokemon are more special and have access to it, and some are less special and
Okay,
don't.
but this just skips that.
Kind of like, yeah, kind of like there's like certain cues on the screen that let you know if a Pokemon might have like an egg move that it learns and stuff, like just I don't know, stuff that I don't worry about really when I play the
Mm.
game.
Okay. A couple other things. Apricorns or apricorns, however you want to pronounce it, returned. And that was like gold and silver. There was like these things you can get from trees.
Oh, is that how you make the
You can make
Pokeballs?
Pokeballs, yeah.
Oh God.
The EXP charm item will increase the experience points, and I'm reading this from Bulbapedia, so it is what it is. EXP charm will increase the experience points earned by the player's party, so I guess it's just a tick up in the amount of XP they get. Galarcia twigs can be collected from under trees, and 8 can be combined by an NPC to create the Galarcia cuff, which is used to evolve Galarian Slowpoke into Galarian Slowbro. So
Great.
that sounds a little gimmicky to me. Like, why add an item just so that you can go to a certain person to get a certain Pokemon? But maybe there's more to it. I don't know.
Look, listen, I appreciate the berries and the apricorns and all of that for what it is, but I find it so annoying. It's like, look, the berries, like, they're useful, but and I don't know if I didn't really play with the berries in this game,
Uh-huh.
but like when they first introduced berries, it was like you pick the tree, and then if you want more berry trees, you have to plant the berries, and then
Right.
you got to
Because they
water
were
it.
they
And
were
I
used for
just
like
like,
the contest, like the beauty contest and stuff.
yeah, and I never paid attention to any
I
of
did it like
that
once or
because who
twice.
cares?
Because you didn't get
My
any
thing is
invite.
like, my thing that pisses me off with games is if you want to introduce all these features, like, stop having it waste so much fucking time. Like okay, I gotta pick the berries, and you go through a shaking tree animation, and then you plant the berry, and it goes through a plant
Oh,
berry
you wouldn't like
animation, and then
Animal
you
Crossing
water.
then.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off when I watch Animal
But that's the
Crossing.
thing
Is
is like
like
there's a process to it. It's not a quick thing.
I don't.
It's an
It's stupid.
experience.
It's a waste of my
Well, it's like
time.
Minecraft. Like, why do I have to go to Minecraft to get this item, to get this other item, to
That's why I
combine
don't
these
play
items together
Minecraft.
with a third one? Right, exactly.
No, it's okay. No, I don't mind looking for this item and combining it. I don't mind the mechanic, but just let me do it quickly.
Oh no, they want you to sink the
Let
time
me
into
just
it.
plop it in the ground. No, I don't want
No,
to
it's a
fucking do
time
that. I
suck because
could
they want you to
go
play the
outside and
crap out of
plant
that
my own
game
fucking. I could go outside and plant my own
at the same time.
plants
Right.
and it'd take less time. If I went out with a fucking packet of seeds and planted them and threw water on it, it would take less time than doing it in the fucking game.
Maybe so. Just buy it
So
for free.
why do
It's
I
ready
want
to
to do
go.
it in the game?
Yeah, they should let you buy
A
the tree
game is
that's ready
about
to go.
having
Right.
fun. That's not fun to me. Anytime the game takes control away from you as a player and puts all this time into
That
animations,
happens a
I
lot.
don't like it. I hate it. Like certain, like when they did that to Halo and Gears of War, where it's
Oh,
like
you got to walk slow
all this. No, it's like
to listen to the
is it
dialogue.
Halo? Like basically the type of shit where like you're playing a online shooter, and like the automatic kills where you go up behind someone and you press B and then it goes into this long
Yeah,
ass
Halo Reach.
animation.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're still playing an online game. Like, so why are you wasting time with like this long animation
Yeah, there's got to be a
while
risk
other
reward.
people are still
Right.
trying to kill you?
Right.
Like,
So like the risk, I mean, the risk reward in Halo is that, well, I don't know about Halo, but in Gears of War with the chainsaw thing, you don't have to use ammo, but ammo's never a problem. So like I could see like if you're playing a points based game and you get more points for doing a kill a certain way, but it takes longer and puts you more at risk, like that makes sense. Yeah. But I see what you're saying as far as uncontrollable animations. I'm not a fan of them. I always hope that there's like a secondary, way around it. Um, but what else do we have here? Additional move tutor moves available in the Master Dojo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. The protagonist can now wear training clothes, so like a bunch of clothes. Something called the Cramomatic. Inside the dojo on the Isle of Armor, the player can find a Cramomatic, a robot resembling some kind of thing, which can be fed
yeah, I
4
didn't see
items
that.
that can be fused to create a new item. All right?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Restricted Sparring is a special battle feature in which participants are limited in types of Pokemon they can use and forced to battle under set conditions. So just like a rule set, I guess.
Probably fighting the. Never mind. Just I don't want to spoil it.
All right. And then side quests. There's side quests, including a search for 150 Alolan Diglett scattered
Oh
across the
God, I
island.
saw this.
Isn't that
fucking
like
shit.
the whatever the things are in Breath of the Wild? There's like hundreds of them.
I have no idea. They want you to fucking find 150 Diglett. The Galar Diglett has, or certain
He's
type of
got a little
Diglett
thing on
has
his head, right?
hair on its head, so you're supposed to look around for the hair popping out the ground.
But what do you get for that? I wonder.
I have no idea. A Diglett.
I don't know. I don't have the patience to go through the whole thing. But all right. So that's kind of the basic thing. So will you get it? Is the question when you actually finish the game.
I don't think so.
Really?
Because they're already, they already have another one
They have
planned.
another one planned, yeah,
Or releasing like
4
now
months
in
from now.
Japan, basically.
Right.
So now that puts your investment at $120 for
Yeah, a
like
60 and 230s, right? And the base price of the game is not going to drop anytime soon, so. But I think if they delayed the game a year and they charge $80 for it and they said everything's in it, I would be all for it.
yeah, but they're trying to make
I
money.
understand that, but it's artificial, so. All right. So that's kind of the the Pokemon thing. So just wanted to kind of go over that. Next up, so there, as we know, there's no E3 this year. So everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I just wanted to go through who's doing what and when. Wow, this is a very old article. So there's been, well, I don't think this. We'll probably have to go through it again, but there's been like there's a Summer Games Fest thing that was done by Jeff Keighley. I don't think anything really big happened there. IGN has been doing like a summer of gaming thing where they've been showing things here and there. So I guess different publishers and developers made partnerships with them, and they paid them to say, okay, we'll release this trailer for this game that we want to announce through you, and you'll do it. And on, I have a Samsung Smart TV, so they have their own, channel on Samsung TV Plus, and they show a bunch of the stuff on there too. What else? Talked about the PS5 last time around. That did its thing. There was a Guerrilla Collective thing. 11-bit Studios, Frostpunk, one of the makers of Baldur's Gate 3, a bunch of stuff. That one, I don't really know what happened with that. PC Gaming Show, did you watch that?
No.
Okay, it's supposed to be last week. Bunch of Steam news. EA Play is the one we're going to talk about in a second, because that was just the other day, on Friday, I believe. And, coming up next, the Game Awards and I Am 8-Bit are going to do something on the 22nd. Sega's doing something
That's
on
tomorrow.
the 23rd, yeah. CD Projekt Red on the 25th. Oh, Cyberpunk's delayed again, by the way. I don't know if you saw
Yeah, I
it.
saw that.
So I don't know what year it's going to... It might come out in 2077 at this
No,
point.
it's like November.
Well, it was
19th?
September, yeah. I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
They delayed it to November 19th, I think.
I don't think it'll come out this year at this point.
I think it will.
Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you want to pronounce it. People yell at me either way. July 12th, they're doing something. So Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs. Microsoft is sometime next month. I don't think it's been announced. So kind of what I wanted to get out of this is that, do you think E3 is done forever?
No.
You think there'll be another E3 next
Look,
year?
everybody's saying everything's done forever. There's people that are saying that buffets are done forever.
Well, right. I mean, I'm not doom and glooming it, but the way E3 has been.
No, but like, there's literally people that like are talking matter of factly, like, oh, there won't ever be another buffet
Right,
again.
I've seen that. Yeah.
But it's like, look, this the situation we're going under right now is like pretty crazy. But I'm assuming, I can't tell you how long, what the timeline is going to be, but I'm assuming eventually is going to get under control. I don't think we're going to live like this for the next 20, 30, 40, or 50 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure once, I understand E3 had problems regardless of a pandemic.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they'll at least give it another go.
Do you think they'll try? Do you think it's a possibility that they try and it gets canned?
Yeah, I think there's a strong possibility it might not work.
Right.
I don't see them just,
honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, because you might not. I would say you probably won't see another one next year for the pandemic reasons. Like, I don't think this is going to be under control within a year, to where you could say have all these people come in and out.
Right.
It might be more under control where you could say, okay, people could sit 6 feet apart at a movie theater or a stadium or whatever, but can it be under control for an event like that? I don't. It might not be in a year.
Do you think that they'll take the initiative and try to make it into more of a virtual event that's organized under the E3 umbrella? Or
I don't think so.
No.
If E3 loses whatever like clout it has, then the publishers and developers, whatever, are just better off.
Way, though. You had, over time,
yeah, this year they've taken over
companies out.
Well, Nintendo said fuck E3.
Right.
And does its own thing.
And then it was Microsoft, and then it was Sony.
So now, like this year, nobody's trying to look. If E3 was gonna still have like an umbrella over this and say it's part of E3, they would have done it already. Do you see how quick Microsoft, Sony, all these companies are to go and just say, all right, we'll do our own.
Right, because they don't need. What I'm saying is they don't need that umbrella. They don't need that showcase anymore. I mean,
well, yeah, if they don't, if it doesn't mean as much as it used to,
right?
Because you could get everything online that you need to see, and I mean, technically speaking, within a year or two, the demos that you are showing at E3 could probably be somehow playable online at home instead of having to go and play them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think you need people going to a convention center to play a demo of a game, because those demos are already running on, they're running on the real console 99% of the time.
I think whenever shit gets under control, E3 will try to do it one more time, and that could possibly be the last time, depending
Hmm.
on how people turn out for it.
Yeah, I really, not to give again the doom and gloom thing, but I really think that looking ahead, I don't see, other than the small publishers and developers that need the exposure and are able, because,
They don't.
well, the smaller people, not the indies that can't afford to go to E3, but like the people in the middle, the people that have not yet been bought up by EA or Microsoft or
Yeah, but
Sony.
everyone could just host their own thing, and you don't need money to host an online event.
No, but you mean, I mean, you want to make it worth it. So I don't know. I just,
I'm just saying, like, monetarily to what's a small studio to you? Like, what's an example of one?
small studio, what would be a good example?
What the people who did Cuphead, are they small or large?
Yeah,
Or
I think they would be considered small. I don't think they're, I think it's only
so
like
so
15
so
people.
if they decided next year they're gonna create a new IP that's not Cuphead, you don't think that they could just say, "Hey, we're the people who made Cuphead, and on this day at 8 o'clock on YouTube, we're
Right.
gonna
Well,
have a
no, well,
live
they
stream
they
of our
have
next game, and
they have
it won't
notoriety
cost
though.
them anything."
What I'm saying is like the people that have made games before but don't have the notoriety. Maybe, several 100,000, a couple million people know the game
They'll
and whatever.
find
But there's
other
so
ways
many
to.
games out there and so many developers. It's a great thing, but you have especially a lot of I want to say non-US based, companies. I don't know that they have the. Could they do it? Yeah. Would it be beneficial to them? I don't know. But that's what E3 kind of
I don't.
was
I don't think
way back
that
when.
many games are like getting big notoriety over appearing at E3, and it's whether you're a big studio or a small studio, it still comes down to the booth space you have, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't think that like small non-known companies are going to E3 and suddenly creating this big name for themselves.
Well, no, I mean they used to, and then eventually they would get recognized. You would hope, or bought by somebody. But I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens either way. But I would say I don't think we're going to see. If we see an E3, it's going to be nothing like what we've seen before, because I think so many places or so many companies are just inclined to not participate because they want to do things their own way.
Yeah, well, all the big companies, yeah, it's like
I just think more and more are going to splinter off, or say,
that's
forget it.
how
We're just going to announce this game and put it out.
that's how life goes. Big companies, once they don't have to adhere to the status quo, they,
Right.
you know, you see it in other areas. I can't really think of an example, but it's basically like
Yeah, no, they don't
E3
need
is just
E3 anymore,
accepted
and we've known
is
that for
just
a long time.
accepted as what you're supposed to do. So you keep doing it, but you could show your stuff and get it out there, especially in today's age
Right,
with
it's
much
so
less
easy.
money. And
Right. That's what I'm saying is I think that will be enough to put the nail in the
like if
coffin.
Microsoft, here's the basic way to put it, like Xbox One Series X or PS5, their exposure to the world is not gonna change because there wasn't an E3 this
I
year.
agree. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not so much talking about them, but yeah, right. I like I said, last time, Madden's still gonna sell 1 billion copies.
Yeah, but that's like one of the biggest thing about E3 is usually like I understand games are a big thing too, but like one of the biggest things about E3 is like, oh, here's our
It's
hardware,
hardware.
we're dropping
Right.
it.
Hmm.
Or here's like
A new
this
service.
or here's like this big game, we're dropping it. But it's like if it's a big game, you could get it out there without E3. You don't.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, talk to me in June of 2021, and I don't know.
June of 2022. Because I think there's going to be one more at least. I'm only putting my money on one more, and I would say it would be 2022, not
So
2021.
you think they'll try to do something or nothing next year?
Probably nothing. I just
Really?
don't think the world's going to be ready for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It's sad to think about. It's interesting, but one day at a time. So, that being said, here's what was announced at EA Play. Not a lot of stuff, but stuff we might not care about. So, Apex Legends is coming to Switch and Steam, and it's going to have crossplay. So continuing to compete with
everything could play with everyone.
yeah,
PC, PS, all the systems could play with everyone
everybody.
basically
And
now.
now, as far as Fortnite goes, I know the three is Fortnite on PC. Or no?
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yes.
Does that have crossplay with the console versions though? Because I don't know that it does.
I have no idea off the top of my head.
But I know that I'm pretty sure the three consoles have crossplay with each other. But yeah, so that's Apex Legends, whatever. Sims 4 is now on Steam, whatever. If that's your thing, great. If not, whatever. Just use Origin or whatever they're using now. I don't know. I don't really get into the politics of all that stuff. Do you remember that guy that was like when they showed that game called A Way Out? It was the Prison Break game. He was like cursing and stuff. They're making a new game about a kid that's in a divorce situation. Okay, something called Lost in Random, which is the studio behind the game called. It's spelled the letter F like Frank, the letter E like Edward, Fee. I don't know what this is. So something about dice. A dark kingdom where every citizen's future is determined by a roll of the dice. I don't know. Something called Rocket Arena, which I don't know if it has any relation to Rocket League, but it's a 3v3 rocket game. Like the art style kind of looks like Overwatch, but like also like oh man, what's that game by Hi-Rez Studios? The people that did Smite. There's like an offshoot, or is it Re-Res? Oh, it's Hi-Rez, yeah. There's an offshoot of Smite that has a very similar style. Maybe somebody will let us know that this kind of looks like. It's just a hero shooter. It's 3v3, whatever. And then this is the one that I was kind of surprised about. And so it's Star Wars Squadrons.
Were you surprised about the price?
The price of what?
Squadrons?
No, well, I didn't know anything about it. Why? What's the price?
Do you know how much it costs?
No.
Do you want to take a guess?
It's free.
Was your first? No, I was gonna say, is your first guess 60?
Well, my first guess would be 60. Yeah.
The second guess, free, is wrong, obviously.
All right, 40.
Yeah.
$40. No microtransactions.
So is that a reflection on the game we're gonna get, or?
Well, I don't know. Well, let me disclose that everybody knows the company I work for. It's the Walt Disney Company. So this is my own opinion, but I haven't seen enough about the game itself. I mean, it's cool to have a Star Wars like space shooter again, a la Rogue Squadron and that kind of thing. I guess it's like a spiritual successor.
Can I interrupt?
To that? Sure.
I would say this is not the game people are clamoring for at this point.
What do you think they're clamoring for? Because we had Battlefront and then we had Jedi Fallen Order.
Well, me personally, I would like RPG.
A Star Wars RPG. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Or not to say that Fallen Order didn't really fix people's like single player
action RPG then.
Fix.
Right.
No, like single, like more of a story driven game.
Right, like 1313 was going to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people are really. I think that's why they're charging $40 for it. It's like, I feel like this is them taking the mechanics of the spaceships in Battlefront and expanding it into its own
packaging
game.
It separately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that might be the case. I don't know. I'm just interested. So,
Here, let me put it a different way. When I was reading about this game, I was like, okay, all right, okay, cool. How awesome would it be if they made a game and they just let you create your own character and choose your own like job class and what your reason is to be in this universe, and then let you start with like a shitty ass spaceship, and then somehow, like, I can't tell you all the mechanics of the game off the top of my head because I'm not, a genius who's making these games. But somehow it's like a type of game where you're going through and you're deciding why, like, basically, like, you're deciding, you're starting out, you're creating your character, your job class, you're getting a shitty ass spaceship, and you're deciding what you're trying to use it for.
Mm-hmm.
And as you progress through the game, you basically upgrade or buy new ships and also use your ship to smuggle or to do
Do whatever
legitimate
mission
things.
that fits your
Or,
job.
and like you're in this world where like you're constantly customizing your ship, upgrading it, or buying a new ship, or like even if you want to just have one ship throughout the whole game, but you're constantly upgrading it and making changes to it, and you're choosing missions and objectives based on what character you want to play as, and then eventually as the game goes on, you're basically drawn into, okay, we recognize this like person that you are doing your shit with your ship. Now we want to ask you to join the rebellion or to join the empire or whatever factions we have at this point
Mm-hmm.
that we're going with. And you have to make the decision, what side do you want to be on? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like a game where there's actual like depth to it. Like it's not just it's gonna be a 5v5 and your empire and your rebellion, and
Right.
you know, you could either play 5v5 or you could do some stupid single player shit that's probably going to be really streamlined and short.
Yeah, single
And they're
player says
probably
it's either
not going
New
to let you,
Republic or Imperial, but you
they're
play as
probably
both.
not going to let you, they're probably not going to let you upgrade the ships or customize them in your own. Like, how hard is it to, I'm not going to say like how hard is it, but like, is it not worth making a $60 game where you could have control over your character, control over your ship,
Right.
give people actual options and
That's an
depth of
expensive game to make,
gameplay
though.
to I'm sure EA could afford it. And I'm sure hey, let me go ahead and make a very bold statement, okay? I'm sure A, EA could afford to make the game, and B, if EA made a good game where you had customization options for your character and for your ship, people would not mind that they charge money for the microtransactions.
I would agree. Right. Because that's what it's
If you
supposed to
made
be
a
about
good
anyway.
game where you had some control over your ship, but then they said, hey, if you want to have this type of ship or you want to have this type of fucking laser or whatever, like you could start charging. There's not a problem. Microtransactions are not a problem. Like it's okay to charge people for stuff.
Right. No, I'm with
The
you.
problem is you don't gimmick the game to charge people for stuff.
Right. Or loot box type thing. Right.
If 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 you make a Star Wars ship game and you say, okay, if you want to pay us $10, we'll let your ship be the Millennium Falcon. I don't see a problem with
Well, what if
that.
it's the strongest ship and it destroys everybody easily?
Well, yeah, there's a problem with that. You don't
Right. But
gimmick the
that's the
game
line. Right.
to make the money. Yeah, but I don't see like if it comes down to a cosmetic thing where it's like I want to pay $10 to fly the Millennium Falcon because it's the Millennium Falcon and it's going to look like that, and maybe it will have a slight speed boost. Not like, oh, it'll have better
It's
guns,
just
it'll
not
have better
OP, right?
speed, it will
Mm-hmm.
have like maybe it will have a slight speed boost because we know it's like the fastest ship, quote unquote.
Right. That's the idea. Right.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
People will pay money for that. People won't be upset about paying it.
Right. Yeah, I think the kind of the controversy around microtransactions, especially like the loot box stuff from several years ago, I think it's kind of died down. I mean, it's there. Everybody knows it's around. Everybody knows it's an option. But I think even and there's even legislation that's still going through about this stuff in different countries and things like that.
Here's my thing. Like I feel very strongly about this. All right, whatever they release as their $40 game, I think should be like the second half of a $60 game. Like they're gonna have this story and this back and forth about the war and the two factions fighting.
Right.
So my thing is, why not? Like I said, give you a game where you create a character, you customize them. There's backstory. You're
So
customizing
you
your
get
ship.
to that point at
You're
the end.
you,
Right.
and then you get to that
Right.
point, which should be the end of the game or like the climax or the middle. Like
The
things are
the
getting,
third act. Yeah. Right.
as opposed to throwing you, oh, we could use a X-wing and a TIE fighter and a Y-wing and this and that, and that's your choices.
Right, but is it a
Like,
recycling of assets, like you said, or is it 80%, 60% already built? Let's build the other 40. I don't know. I can't say, but I didn't know it would be a $40 game, which and it could be a great game. Who knows? You know what I mean? It could be a great game that they feel they want to throw out there and see what throw something at the wall and see if it sticks, type thing, and then maybe you get that the next time. You know, because
I have extreme doubts about EA saying we're going to charge $40 for a game.
yeah, when was the last time they did that? I can't even. I'm sure there
They
was.
don't even do that with Madden. They should charge $40 for Madden
Oh, we
or
had to.
$30.
Yeah, we've had
They
that
should they
discussion.
should let you they should charge you $100 for Madden and then charge you $20 every year after for the new
Make it a
rosters and
subscription-based
updates.
thing. I mean, that's an idea too. But
There should be like
but
a
they
price
make
of
more than
entry.
$60 every year.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
exactly. So a game like Madden, there should be like a price of entry for the license to play Madden,
Right.
and then there should be a smaller, even if it's $30 every year to upgrade to the newest version.
Right.
And they could still make money. They could still have their microtransactions. If you're telling people, all right, you're paying half the amount to get the newest features, and we're going to
Right.
charge you for old players or old uniforms or this or that, people would be less
But
angry about
that's
paying
kind of
for
what,
those
like,
things.
things like Destiny and stuff do. I mean, Destiny's free to play now to begin with, but that's what they did before. You buy the $60 game, and then we have this expansion that everybody can access parts of it. But if you want the full experience, here's your $30. It's the second year of the game. It's the first year. The shooters that are free to play, Fortnite and Apex and PUBG and things like that. I don't know if PUBG charges for any of the packs, but and that's not free to play. But Fortnite and Apex, they're free to play, but they have other pieces you can purchase. Yes, you have a new season that comes out and that's free, but if you want to buy like the season expansion, you can do that. So why not have like a licensing, like you're saying? You plunk down $60, even $60, or you said 80 or whatever it is. For Madden
I
20.
said 100. Shit.
Madden
Charge
2020 is
people
$100, and then every year is what, 20 or $30?
20 or $30 after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it comes in a lot of ways. It comes down to what can they make the most money out of. And again, this is my own opinion, but and we know for a long time that that's been the case with a lot of different developers. But when you have a yearly iteration, you need to make it worth it. And there's people that still buy it constantly, over and over and over, year after year, the past 20, 30 years now. So until that trend changes, I don't think you're going to see change. So that's Star Wars Squadrons. It comes out October 2nd. Would you buy it?
I need to
You
see
gotta
more.
watch it first.
Probably, honestly, probably not.
No.
I don't. The idea doesn't like what I laid out as a game.
You like that
Putting
stuff.
me in
I
a
would
Star
too,
Wars,
yeah.
putting me in a Star Wars universe where I could customize and upgrade my ship as I go along and take on different missions and be a part of the universe in a way that I choose to be. That would really excite me.
Right.
The idea of you're putting me in
Dogfights,
expanded
basically.
dogfights
Yeah.
from Star Wars Battlefront and charging me $40 for it, that doesn't excite me at all,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah, I want to see kind of what it looks like. So
To me, it's not even going to be as good as Star Wars Rogue Squadron. It's going to be a step down, in my opinion, from the vibe I'm getting from it.
Right. Yeah, I have to look a little bit more into it. I hope more stuff comes out, but it is almost July.
It's a surprise announcement. It's a budget game. What are you
See how
expecting?
it goes. Right. Yeah, and I mean, I hope that if it does well and it's well received, that's only the catalyst, or the impetus to get them to take it to the next level.
What's the game? It was a PC game, but eventually I think it's on like other systems now, and you could even buy like
I'm talking about Eve
is it
Online.
Starlight, or
I'm thinking, isn't it Eve Online was the ship one? What's
no,
that other one
this
that's been
game.
in alpha forever? I think I know what you're talking about.
That's the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that one.
I think
As you were describing that, I was kind of thinking that as far as ship customization, I don't think it has the deep
that
story.
that's yeah that so that game is like the total opposite, but like that type of idea.
Right.
In a Star Wars universe with more simplicity, where it's easier to access.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far. If you remember, Star Wars Galaxy was the MMO. I don't know if they ever got into that.
That's the thing, though, is when I first started thinking about this, when I first started thinking about this idea, it said that's where my mind went. Like, oh, you're basically asking for an MMORPG. No, like I understand like where it could kind of lead to that.
Right. But you want that single player world, maybe connected. I mean, kind of like Destiny is. It's connected to other stuff, but you don't have to have it.
How could I describe it? Like basically a fucking Grand Theft Auto with dogfights. Does that make sense? Or like a Forza with dogfights?
Mm-hmm.
Forza with spaceships and dogfights.
Heavy
Like,
customization, heavy, but also story based. Okay.
yeah, I don't think that's asking a lot. I don't think
Oh,
it's a
Star
terrible game
Citizen is the
idea
game.
either.
Star Citizen.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
think of
yeah.
it. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's a game that people would like. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hope so, but I think this will still sell a little bit. So, ask me October
Anything with
3rd,
the
and
Star Wars name is gonna sell on it.
right,
Fucking
October 3rd, the day after it comes out. Ask me, and we'll come back to it for sure.
so you're buying it day one?
No, I don't know. I have to watch it first.
So how am I gonna ask you?
Just ask me the next day if I bought it. You'll find out. They showed Madden 21 and FIFA 21.
Can we just skip that?
Yeah, they showed I guess what the tech looks like, but who cares? There was a sizzle reel for the new Dragon Age, a new Battlefield, a new Need for Speed, and some next gen stuff, whatever. There's a new skate game coming out. So I should say there's.
Didn't show.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, did they even show anything? I know they announced it, but
No,
did
I
they?
think they just said
They
it's
just
it's
like
very
skates coming,
early.
right? And that's
So I
it.
don't know what took so long because people seem to love skate. I didn't like the very first skate. I was always a Tony Hawk guy. But there's another skating game coming out, another skateboarding game. I can't think of what it is. It looks like a really rough skate, basically. And again, I hope somebody tells me, but I'm not going to look it up. Just waste time. But yeah, so skate, never been my thing. I like Tony Hawk and whatever, but people are happy about that, so whatever. And then they announced they're going to port 7 EA games to Switch this year.
Yeah.
Burnout Paradise, which just came out, I think, this week. Apex Legends, which is out already. So yeah, that's about it. So nothing huge from EA. I guess they're just waiting on, next gen. You're gonna see.
They did also announce that basically a lot of their games and I guess games in the foreseeable future are coming to Steam. Madden
Oh,
is
that's
coming to Steam for
right.
the first time.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So basically, I would guess they're kind of ready to accept that.
Origin didn't work out. Didn't they get rid of
Yeah.
it anyway? Or it was
No, but
changed to different.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting rid of it soon.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you have EA. Maybe EA moves to Steam, but that doesn't stop the Epic Game Store. I mean, you still have that. That thing's a behemoth, and all the free stuff they give away and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say because they give everything away for free.
Yeah, and I missed that on GTA. Whatever. Well, that was a mess. And then there's a rumor that there's a Mass Effect trilogy happening, and people weren't
Yeah, they
happy that
keep
wasn't shown.
rumoring that.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but I
I
mean,
don't know if that's happening or not. I don't really think that it needs to happen.
that would be nice because I never really got
Aside
into
from
them as
making
much as I
Mass
wanted to.
Effect,
What's that?
aside from making Mass Effect 1 more accessible, I don't really.
You don't need it, right?
The games came out recently. The 2 and 3 still look pretty good, and I
Andromeda
know
was fixed.
one the controls are a little hard
Yeah.
to, but so I could see them remastering 1 and putting it more in line with 2 and 3 and
Mm-hmm.
making it easier to play.
Yeah, I mean, it would
Okay,
be nice
we
to
can
have them
fucking
all as
if
one
we could get
package, though.
fucking Mass Effect, we can't get a KOTOR remaster. Come on.
That
Well,
license
that's
is
never
tied
gonna
up.
happen at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tied up a bit.
All right. If you can't tell, I just basically want some type of Star Wars RPG to play.
Right. No, it'd be nice. But yeah, I think it would be nice to have the Mass Effect games in one, package, easy to digest, because you can use your same save through the first 3. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but you already can.
Yeah, but you need a
I'm pretty
PCs
sure
don't
they
think. Yeah,
released
but
on the Xbox at least. I'm pretty sure they released a. Did they?
trilogy.
I feel like they released like
I'm
like
kind of
basically
thinking
all
that
the
too.
games
It's
in
ringing a
one
bell.
box.
Yeah, I don't.
I could
Or
be
maybe it was
wrong.
just 2 and 3 together, or 1 and 2 together, or something.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel
There
like they
was
did.
something like that, yeah. I don't know. I just like. I mean, yes. And what do you have to do every generation? Re-release some. I mean, that's another argument for another day. But, yeah. So EA got a couple things in the pocket there, but we'll see how that all works out. Let's see. Let me go through a couple other ones. I want to save a couple other ones here. Let me take a look at this. So recently, okay, how about this one? Recently, there was I don't know if you saw this, Dead Island 2, which is a game that was announced, about 3 decades ago. Did you see the leaked build that was
Just to interrupt you for a second, they did release a Mass Effect trilogy for
360
um
and PS3.
all the systems basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would have to be a remastered one, but how much? I mean, on the first game, sure, because that's like what 2006 or something.
hmm
Okay.
No, it's not 2006. It's like 2008.
Was the first Mass Effect?
Yeah, because it came out when I was in DC.
Okay.
I graduated in '07, so
Mm. Going back. Let me see here. Okay, so Dead Island 2. I played the first Dead Island a little bit. It was okay, whatever. A lot of people liked it at the time. So Dead Island 2 was announced in 2015 and has been touched by like 7 or 8 different. Oh, I think they already removed this video. Wow. Yep.
well, the Dead Island people are the people that made Daylight. What is it called? Um,
Um. Oh my God, I can't think. Oh God. Uh,
Daylight.
Not Dead by Daylight. That's the other one. I know what you're talking about. It's the zombie game.
No, I
Dying
thought
Light.
that was the one.
Dying Light.
Dying Light. Yeah,
Yeah. So that
those are
was
the
the
same
thing.
people,
Is
right?
they and
So they moved on to bigger and better
they
things,
moved on,
basically.
and then it was like one company, and then another company came in. So whatever. So it's been bounced around. So this is the build from 2015 that leaked. I don't think the
Yeah,
videos
but
are up
but
anymore.
my like the point I'm trying to make is like they made Dead Island. Like it or don't like it, it is what it is. And they kind of left Dead Island 2 to die, and then made a game that people pretty much recognize as much better than Dead Island.
Yes. Yeah. They left it with another studio, and that studio failed. Another one came in, and then I think it was Deep Silver. They didn't work it out, and now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
another
Fuck you.
studio that's there. So this, it's been handed off more than I don't know. It's been handed off more than
Your
anything.
neighborhood hooker.
Well, maybe right. So I don't know. I mean, I did watch some of the videos. It was impressive, some of the stuff they put together, and to know that that footage is 5 years old. So yeah, it was just interesting to kind of see that. I always like to see what we never got, what we never saw, what we missed out on, type thing. And I think it's a shame, a lot of times that the new IP holder, the new person working on it would want to kind of hide that. I mean, I get why they would want to, because who knows what they've recycled, or they want to put the past behind them or whatever. But people like Unseen 64, and those kind of people, they do God's work when it comes to that kind of stuff. So hopefully that stuff is archived. But um, in my opinion, I don't know if this game will ever come out, and
Doubt it.
you're right, and to not be able to see the fruits of people's labor, because you got to remember, people, blood, sweat, and tears go into this stuff.
Yeah, but I would imagine that a lot of the work was done by the Dead Island people. Like whoever the people that made Dead Island, right?
Yeah, well, they went on to make Dying Light,
Did
but they
did
kind of started
they want?
Dead
Yeah,
Island
but
2 and
they
gave it to somebody.
yeah, but probably a lot of the work that they did in the first game went on to be like the building blocks for the
Right.
second game. And they're probably not upset about it because they want to make their own better game that probably was more in line with what they wanted to do
Originally,
as
right. But
a
the other thing
game.
is that
Yeah,
Dying Light 2, which is supposed to be coming out eventually, that has its own type of problem. So who knows if that'll ever come out. So it's kind of you know, it's a shame to see like good quality games.
bro. Sometimes you just gotta play Zombie U.
Zombie U, remember that? Yeah. I bought like the version of that came out on Xbox, and I never played it, or I played like 5 minutes of
I
it.
bought it on the Xbox too and played like an hour of it.
It was fun for what it was, but I that's another one I would love to go back to. But so yeah, that's the story on Dead Island 2. So will it ever come out? Whatever. Do you remember the trailer that first came out, and it was like this ultra photorealistic one, and people freaked out?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that was a while ago.
that was like 2014, if you can believe that. So I don't know. I just hope these are archived somewhere so that people can see them, and whether the game ever comes out or not, it's always nice to have that, that history of what it was or what it wasn't or what it could have been. So that's where I'm at on that. Let's see what else we got here. All right, you ready? You ready for the baseball topic?
No.
Here it is. We're gonna do it.
All right.
So this is an article on Deadspin that came out several weeks ago, but when I saw it, this is from May,
I just
actually.
want you to know that I take Deadspin very seriously.
Oh, I do too. They got some good stuff on there. So this is by
I was
1,
joking.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the people over there.
Wait a second. There's a move. I'm sorry. I don't mean to admit that I'm not paying 100% attention to you because I am still paying 99.9% attention to you.
That's fine.
But I also have a Pokemon live stream going on in the background.
Okay.
And there's a move. It's a grass. Well, first of all, there's an apple Pokemon.
Okay.
Basically, looks like an apple,
That's fine.
and it evolves into like an apple dragon
They have
Pokemon.
one that looks like a candle, so whatever.
It evolves into a apple dragon Pokemon, which basically looks like a broken apple with like a worm in between and some wings.
All right.
And has a move called Grab Apple. Grab like gravity,
Okay.
which is 80 power with 100 accuracy. And the description is the user inflicts damage by dropping an apple from high above. This also lowers the target's
I
defense
mean, he's
stat.
made out of apples, I guess, if you want to bring it
So
there.
but basically they introduced a move into this game, which is an extremely powerful move just for this apple Pokemon.
It's a gimmick.
And it's
Sounds
explained
like a
by just
gimmick.
dropping an apple from a large
Height.
distant yeah, yeah, I don't know.
All right.
God bless them.
All right. So here we go. Deadspin, right? So this article came out at the end of May. This is, and I think you might like this. I want to see your opinion. The most overrated baseball player since 1990.
Okay. I'm listening.
All right,
I
you ready?
already disagree.
What, that there aren't any overrated players since 1990?
I just could tell that whoever they're going to name is not going to be that overrated.
All right, so I'm going to go. The article is written in an interview, like a roundtable format, so you have everybody's quotations,
Yeah,
back to
okay.
back. I'm
Mhm.
just going to leaf through it.
Give me names first, and then I'll ask you if I need actual descriptions.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going to defer to you because I'm a huge baseball fan, but you're, as far as stats and history and everything, you're way more on top of it than I ever will be. So there's a video here. I don't know what's going to happen if I try to play it, but the first one they show is Yadier Molina.
wrong.
They say his OPS is 98, only 2 seasons with 20 homers, and a lot of leadership. So I don't know how you feel
A
about
lot
that.
of leadership. He's basically the best defensive catcher in baseball since Ivan Rodriguez has become a better hitter over time. The guy's like 6 years old right now, and is still probably one of the best catchers in baseball. Was a terrible hitter when he first started. In 2006, did not help the Mets make it to the World Series, and probably in the last 20 years is one of your top 5 catchers in baseball. So I don't understand how he's overrated because he didn't hit 30 home runs. Just fucking calls a great game for the pitchers behind the plate, throws out any runners who try and steal against him. Hits pretty well for a catcher.
Right.
Shit. That's completely wrong. Because the name my question to that would be name 10 catchers since 1990 that are better than him.
I don't think I can name many. And I'm not.
You could say Ivan Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You could say Mike Piazza. I mean, Mike Piazza doesn't compare to him
What
at
was
all
his first year
defensively.
playing, though?
Well, Piazza was in the 90s.
Right.
He might have been drafted in like 87 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you could say Ivan Rodriguez. You could say JT Realmuto on the
Yeah.
Phillies, who used to be on the Marlins. You could say, who else can you say?
Is better than him?
Gabby Sanchez is a great catcher for the Yankees, but he's done it for like, 2 years and is injured all the time.
Right. There's not
What
enough
other
time.
catchers since the 90s are better than Yadier Molina? He's like, except for Ivan Rodriguez, I don't think you could say anyone is better defensively.
Mm-hmm. No, he's
And
always a beast
he's not a
defensively.
bad hitter. Most catchers are bad hitters. Hit for low average. It's hard to be a catcher and hit for a great average and stay strong the whole year because your body breaks down
Right.
having
Easily.
to
Quickly.
catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not. He's not overrated.
So yeah, that's what they.
And he has a championship under his belt.
Right.
So.
And there's a bunch of other stats here. I'll send you the article if you want to add something. Yeah. So they went.
No, because they want to pick and choose their stats and make people look good or bad. The bottom line is, if you're the guy's 36 years old right now. If you're starting a team tomorrow, and you could pick anyone to be your catcher, who are you
That's
picking
still
before
playing,
him?
right? Yeah.
You're going to pick
I'd pick him.
JT Realmuto because he's 28, 27, 28 years old. He's arguably better than Yadier Molina. Okay, so you're going to pick him. Then who else? You could pick Gary Sanchez. I'm sorry, Gary
Gary
Sanchez
Sanchez. Yeah, I know.
on
I
the
think I know
Yankees.
you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like probably the best hitting catcher, but he has his problems defensively, and he's injured a lot.
Right.
Outside of that, who are you taking? And to me, I would take Realmuto first, but to me, Yadier is second
It's a
because
better body. Good body
you're
work.
not looking for your number 3 or your number 4 hitter, like, oh, I need to rely on my catcher. Your catcher, you want someone who could lead the pitcher to where he needs to go, who could be solid defensively, and who could help out at the plate as needed.
I'm with you. That's it.
Yeah, all right, move on.
All
Next
right.
person.
So they went by position here. So first,
I just know I'm gonna disagree with everything because they're naming people to get to make excitement.
right. There's a couple. I mean, they go through a little bit of different stuff, talking about Piazza and Veritek here, but that has nothing to do with who they think is underrated. No, overrated. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say underrated. Overrated. Next up, first base. Here's the people they list. I'll just rattle them off. Paul Konerko, Prince Fielder. Let me just scroll through the rest of it.
Who did they choose?
Well, they're mixed. So I think what they all did is they
Okay,
fixed
all
them.
right,
Is
all
they all
right.
put in
Paul
their
Konerko, no.
Konerko,
Paul
Prince
Konerko, no.
Fielder, no.
Prince Fielder is hard because he retired at a very
Too
early
early.
age.
Yeah.
He had a neck injury, and
All right.
who
How old
else?
was he when he retired? Like 30?
He had to be. If he was even 30, it was like 31, 32.
Okay.
If he was even that old.
Let me see. Let me just read through this here. I mentioned Ryan Howard, but I don't think he's overrated.
I don't think overrated. Kind of overrated because he never hit for average, and his span was very short. But he was extremely feared as a hitter when he was in that span.
Jeff Bagwell and Jim Thome come up here too.
Jeff Bagwell is a Hall of Famer.
Right. Jim
Jim
Thome too.
Thome is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Jim
right.
Thome is one of the best first basemen that
Ever
ever played.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I think what they all did is they put in like
The problem is
1,
if you're
2,
gonna
3.
choose someone who's actually overrated, you're gonna choose a name that isn't sexy to put in a list.
Right.
All right, let's move on to second base.
All right, second base.
I get upset.
Here we go. This guy mentions DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, that might make sense.
Declare Craig Biggio not overrated, so I think they're just Brandon Phillips.
There's possibly an overrated player.
Legitimately good offensive season. I don't remember when that was, but got hyped as a big offensive threat because he drove in a bunch of runs, while Joey Votto, the guy who was getting on base ahead of him, got flagged for not driving in enough.
I don't see how Joey Votto is relevant to their discussion of Brandon Phillips, but
right.
I would say Brandon Phillips is probably slightly overrated. I don't know about. I would say Carlos Baerga is the most overrated second baseman. They don't list his name anywhere.
I'm looking through. They're still going on about it. I'm just going through because, like I said, they're just talking back and forth. So
I mean, DJ LeMahieu had a good year for the Yankees last year, but doesn't have a long track record.
But to say
being
most
a great
overrated
player.
in 30 years, I mean, that's a little bit,
Yeah. He might be most overrated last year. I don't know.
Craig Biggio.
Yeah, Craig Biggio is a Hall of Famer.
I think that, and again, I'm just scanning through this article, but they're mentioning. I think this guy said it as a joke. He said, "I'm going to make the executive decision to."
Derek Jeter.
Overrated.
Yeah, overrated.
One of the best that ever played the position, though. You can't deny that.
Yeah, but by how much?
mentioning Barry Bonds for some reason, but like I said, not because they're underrated. So yeah, that's all there is for that. So all right, shortstop. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. Talking about football now. I don't know what's going on.
So what's shortstops? Come on. And Derek Jeter's not
I
overrated.
wish
I
you
was
could, if
just
you take a look at this article, because they go on, and nothing against
all
these
right.
guys.
Is
Just
it
say
in the
that,
outline?
yeah, they go on and on about this. They go back and forth talking about stuff. They don't just say the names.
All right, I'm gonna open it up because I need to know what shortstop they are
They're talking
saying
about
is
the only one they mention here is Derek Jeter, I think, without reading the whole thing, because like I said, they go back and forth.
catcher. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get caught up.
Okay.
Talk while I do
Just
that.
look for the video of Barry
Oh, they
Bonds.
mentioned Pujols
Yeah, like I
for
said,
first
it
base.
depends on what they. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, I should have gone through and actually read it, but it's so long that I don't want to go through all that.
Okay, so they're saying Derek Jeter, which is what I said.
Okay, that's fine. Third
Which
base. Are you ready for it?
the shortstop, they're basically going back and forth about Jeter.
Yeah,
Oh, David Wright. No, come on,
David Wright.
come on.
To say that David Wright's then we're both Mets fans, so let's put that out there. But to say he's an overrated player,
Look, all right, I need to. Now you got me at a point where
go ahead.
I need to bring up his stats because I was just listening to someone talk about David Wright the other day, and they were talking about his chances of getting into the Hall of Fame had he not
Gotten injured
uh gotten injured. Okay,
multiple
and they
times.
were bringing up his stats. All right, first of all, he hit 296 for his career. That's including his
Insane.
injured seasons.
As a Met, that's insane.
In 2004, he came up at 21, hit 14 home runs with 40 RBI. Okay, 2004 as a 21-year-old.
On the New York Mets when they weren't that
Okay,
good.
so 2005, his second season, he's 22. All right, let's read off these numbers from him being 22, 23, 24, and
And they were
25
not
years
good.
old. 2005, he hit 306 with 27 home runs and 102 RBI. 2006, he hit 311 with 26 home runs and 116 RBI. 2007, he hit 325 with 30 home runs and 107 RBI. 2008, he hit 302 with 33 home runs and 124 RBI. So every year that he was a major leaguer before he started having injuries,
Right.
he hit 300 with 25 home runs and
Plus,
100 RBI.
right. So here's
Plus, that's the minimum.
right.
And his stolen bases for those years, 17, 20, 34, he was stealing bases. And he was a gold glover defensively. So
Absolutely.
what is
Pretty much
overrated?
every year. So here's what they
If
say.
he
Here's their argument. Their argument is that they say, well, this guy says, it's my belief that pretty much every New York player gets overrated to a large degree. He had just one season as a legit MVP candidate, including the years he was healthy. I also believe that third base was such a wasteland for the Mets for decades that finally finding a solution elevated him even greater. So they're trying to say the position sucked, so getting somebody good there made it look that much better. I don't know if I agree with that. He had only two 30-plus home run seasons. Early in his Mets
had
career,
what?
what?
Had 230-plus home run seasons?
That's what we said, but that doesn't matter. Early in his Mets career, when he had big bats around him, and Carlos Delgado and Beltran and Reyes, he was a dangerous bat. But when those guys were gone, he was the center of the Mets team. The franchise plummeted. He complained about Citi Field, and there's no great player that would ever admit that.
He was injured. He had spinal stenosis.
Right. So
He never had a bad year. In 2012,
while he was healthy, right? You take his
like
healthy years, right?
look at his fucking stats. So all those years that they're talking about, he had good players around him. All right, 25 home runs, 100 RBI. 2009, those players start to leave.
Yeah.
He has 10 home run and 72 RBI, still hit 307. In 2010, he hit 283, 29 home runs, 103 RBI. Now in 2011, I'm sorry, that's when the injuries start to happen. And he hit 254, 14 home runs, 60 RBI in a shortened season. Then the year after that, he came back, hit 306 with 21 home runs, 93 RBI. Then in another shortened season, 307, 18 home runs, 58 RBI.
So good
And then
numbers,
he
right?
really is constantly producing at a high level.
Right.
And he retired at 33.
which is
He retired
nuts.
at 33, and he
Almost,
still had 240 home runs, 970 RBI, hit 296, stole 196 bases. Like,
what more do you want?
the guy was a solid, like, you cannot get better
Oh
than
yeah,
that.
for sure. He's my second favorite Met of all time. Like and there's no secret about that. This guy also goes on to
And
say,
another thing
go
that
ahead.
happened to him that the guy hit 296 for his career. The guy was hit in the head with a fastball one of those
Yeah, I
seasons,
remember that.
and he missed time with a concussion. I don't know which season it was, but before he got the spinal
Yeah, it was
stenosis, he
earlier.
missed like the end of one of the seasons with a concussion, and it took a while for him to get back to normal after that. Like, when you consider his power numbers, he still hit for a good average after that happened to him, but his power kind of fell off because he was kind of pulling off the ball a little
Yeah, I
early
remember.
because I guess
He was very
he was
cautious.
nervous
Yeah,
about what had
for a long
happened to
time.
him. So,
Yeah,
and he still hit 296 for his career.
right.
Like, the guy was, and he played a Gold Glove defense. Has
Day in and day out. Yeah.
the guy, to me, the only thing that he's basically Derek Jeter in my eyes. I don't care. Like, I understand he didn't do it as long as Derek Jeter. I understand he didn't win the
It's all
championships,
relative, though.
but the character of person that he was, and the play that he played in the field defensively, and the way that he hit offensively, and that he played in New York, yes, you could compare him directly to Jeter,
Yeah, he was the
basically.
Jeter of the Mets, right? So they kind of go on to say that I don't know what he's talking about here. He says Jose Reyes, Carlos Delgado, and Beltran were as, if not more, important and productive than Wright, but were never viewed as such or as the heart and
Because they
soul
weren't.
of those Mets teams. That title was
Because they weren't there. They weren't there, so they don't know what was going on. They don't know what made him be
right.
named the
Some of these
captain,
guys are New
and
York
not
guys and
so.
they stick up for him, but
Yeah, but they weren't there in the clubhouse to know why is David Wright the captain and not Carlos Beltran or not Carlos
right.
Delgado or not Jose Reyes.
They say that the title was reserved almost solely for Wright and his performance didn't warrant that. I would disagree. I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
Derek Jeter. Look at the players. All right, let's. They say Derek Jeter is not overrated, right?
No, they did say he was.
No, they said he's not. They said it was a joke.
Oh well, then who's the most
They
overrated
said first.
shortstop?
They said let's agree. All right, I don't know what they did, but my point is Derek Jeter played with Jason Giambi, Gary Sheffield, Alex
A-Rod.
Rodriguez, Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams.
Yeah.
David Wright never had half the players
Not
that
to
Derek
mention the
Jeter
best
had to
closer
play
in
next
the
to.
history of the game.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about offensively,
Oh
his
right.
numbers.
I was thinking.
Derek Jeter's best year barely matches Wright's
Right. Yeah, I don't agree with
normal
you. I
years.
think
Derek Jeter, how many times did Derek Jeter hit 30 home runs? Never.
never.
How many
Probably.
times did Derek Jeter touch um let me look this up
Okay.
because I'm actually interested now. I'm sure Derek Jeter had a lower career average than Wright.
Not 296. He didn't hit. No way.
All right, so Derek Jeter played. Now let's take this into consideration. Derek Jeter played 20 years and hit 260 home
So I say
runs.
cut it in half.
Wright hit 242 and retired at age 30.
33. Right.
Jeter's lifetime average was it 310? I believe that.
It was 310. I feel like
I could
that's
believe
high.
that.
I'm surprised it's that high.
No, I could believe it.
Hmm.
Wait, let me refresh this page because the
Okay.
like
Is that
alignment of
that
everything.
one baseball stat, like the really good site? I forgot what
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
the alignment got all out of order.
Not sponsored. You know.
But he has 400 more RBI than Wright in almost 10 more
He has 10 more
years.
years. Yeah, I would say cut it in. I mean, it's not fair to cut it in half, but cut it in
He
half.
has 70 more stolen bases than Wright in
Well, he's
10 more
faster, wasn't
years.
he? Wasn't Jeter faster?
All right, my point of checking this though was how many times did he have 100 RBI? He had 100 RBI once in his career. He had
And what did
102.
Wright do it like 7 times?
A lot. Yeah, he never hit 30 home runs. He never even hit 25. And I'm not saying he's a bad player because of that. I'm just saying you're looking at Wright and saying that he's overrated, but this is like who people agree is one of the best shortstops in baseball, and his best year is not even close to an average right year.
Right.
Or
no, I'm with you. I mean, I respect both the guys. I mean, we grew up as New York area guys, Jersey guys, and you couldn't go anywhere
let's
without
move on.
seeing them.
The right shit's pissed me off. We got to move on.
All right, let's move on.
Left
all right,
field.
left field. Justin Upton.
Justin Upton sucks. So if that's their choice, first of all, he's a center fielder. But is this an outfield thing or a left field thing?
This is left field.
All right. Why are they talking about Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson.
I don't know
was
what that
great
has to do
too.
with anything. Center fields.
So their choice was Justin Upton, who's a center fielder.
I don't know. Jim Edmonds and Kevin. What's this guy's last name?
Kiermaier.
Kiermaier. I don't recall who that even is. So
Jim Edmonds. Oh my God, Johnny Damon, Jim Edmonds.
yeah, Johnny
All right,
Damon. Yeah, remember him? Yeah.
Jim Edmonds is a great player.
They said
I
he's
don't
the
know why they
15th
would
best
rank
center
him up.
fielder of all time.
Damon. Come on.
What a mess that was. Remember all that drama?
I need to just to show you where these guys are at. I need to look up Jim Edmonds because he's gonna have some fucking monster years.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he was one of the best defensive center fielders. Yeah, look at this guy. This guy has a year. Oh my God.
Who is this?
Jim Edmonds.
I don't even recall
And
him. What did he play for?
In '95, Angels and Cardinals.
All right, I'd have to see his picture.
In '95, he had a 33-107.
Mm-hmm.
2000 had 42-108.
42.
31, 31-10. 2004, 42-111.
Wow.
And he was pretty much not all his years were like that.
That's enough right there, though.
But he was one of the best defensive center fielders of the time, top 5 easily.
Mm-hmm.
He also just confirmed he had a relationship with a former threesome partner, whatever that means.
Well, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
That just popped up.
All right, here we go.
Jim Edmonds is not overrated. Terrence Long could be overrated.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Larry Walker. Oh my God.
Yeah, the right field. Larry
Please.
Walker, Matt Kemp. I don't know if Matt Kemp's overrated. I don't think
Larry Walker is one of the best. They're pissing me off.
I don't know where the Matt Kemp thing comes from because I know for a couple of years there he was solid, but I don't think people look at him as God's gift to baseball.
He got injured.
Right. But he had those 3 or 4 really good years, several back.
I just need to show you where these guys
Trot
are coming
Nixon,
from.
I'm
All
not
right.
familiar.
Trot Nixon was a scrub for the Red Sox. No one thought he was
This
good.
guy says right here, this guy CB, I don't know who that is. He goes, no one knows who the fuck Trot Nixon is. I don't.
Yeah, he's a scrub. He's a scrub for the Red Sox. All right, so here's the knock against Larry Walker.
Right.
He played for the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, he's in the Hall?
Yeah, he's a great player.
He got in.
He played for the Rockies though.
Right. Oh, he was on the Expos too, no?
Yeah, early in his career.
Right.
But he never hit 100 RBI with the Expos. He never hit 30 home runs. And then he went to Colorado. His first year in Colorado, 36-101. Was injured the second year, third year, 49 home runs, 130
They're trying to
RBI.
say the Coors effect helped because it's so high up.
Yeah, it might have,
so.
but it might have helped a little.
Peyton
but
Manning didn't win the Super Bowl because of the Coors effect.
He's a career 313 hitter.
That's solid.
Has a career 400 on base percentage.
Ooh.
Led the league in on base percentage 2 years. Led the league in batting average 3 years. Yeah, he's a little too good to say that Colorado made him. I never liked that argument to begin with. Trot Nixon was a scrub. If you want to say he was overrated, that's fine.
All right, could you though? Is he held in that high regard though? No, I
No.
don't even know who that is.
That's the fine line. Is they're held in high regard. So
right.
Can a player who's not be held in high regard be overrated?
I think they can be,
I think
that's not the first person you go to though. Yeah, they're saying that Larry Walker's numbers on the road were similar to Reggie Jackson's. 278, 379, 495. So
Larry Walker was a good player.
7
Ramirez,
Golden Gloves, excuse me.
Yeah, he was good defensively too.
Right. All right.
Let's go to righty starter.
Yeah, let me go down. Bryce Harper, Tony Fernandez. I don't even know if we'll go there.
Jack Morris. I don't even know where to start with that.
How far down are you here?
I'm going to righty starter.
Righty starter. Do we do all three fielders? That was right field?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about John Olerud losing the MVP in '93 to Frank Thomas. Memories. Okay. Adam Wainwright. Overrated.
I read this and I can't. Some guy says David Cohn, Kevin Appier. Kevin Appier wasn't that good. David Cohn was. Someone said Dwight Gooden and Oral Hershiser. Those
Yeah,
are
what is that?
two of the best players in baseball.
Don't have enough sustained peaks for the Hall.
Yeah,
I don't know why everyone would think David Cohn is overrated.
All Dwight Gooden did was be like the best player in baseball for like 3 years.
Right.
I understand like not having the longevity,
Yeah,
but
but you
you're
can't
not
talk about Earl Hershiser.
lefty starter. Here's where
I'm going
let's just
down.
skip to lefty starter.
Pettit.
Yeah, that's interesting because Pettit, I almost want to agree with it because he got this big reputation of being a big game pitcher in the playoffs, but his ERA was always over 4.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But he would win a lot of games because the Yankees always had good offense.
But that's the Yankee effect in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, I could see him being overrated. I don't know about most overrated.
But does he still make the Hall of Fame? Yeah, right.
Did he make the Hall of Fame?
I don't think. He's eligible.
Not as of yet.
Not as of yet. I think he still
I
makes
I don't know if he makes it.
I think he does.
Bumgardner? No, Bumgardner is even better than Pettit.
Kershaw?
Glavine and Kershaw. Glavine might be overrated.
Glavine might be a little bit overrated.
If Glavine had the strike zone that they have now, they had a really big strike zone in the late 90s. So Glavine used to throw. Glavine had really great control. So he would throw the ball off the plate knowing that they're going to give him the strike.
Right. And then when that.
So if they tighten up his strike zone with the stuff that he has as a pitcher, he would have got hit a lot more.
Right, but that's not his fault because that's how they were calling the games.
Yeah.
Mike Mussina.
Mike Mussina's not a lefty, so I don't know why they brought up his name.
I don't know why it's there either, yeah.
Let's just go down to
Done with it? Okay.
Oh look, they have the all overrated team. Yadier Molina, Ryan Howard.
Oh, they have that at the bottom?
Derek Jeter and David Wright. That takes a lot of fucking balls.
Left fielder Bo Jackson. That's its own. I mean, that's a story for another time. Bryce Harper.
Yeah, right? I don't know who these people are, but I lost a lot of respect for them.
This is 6 of them. 6 of the guys.
How about Manny Machado overrated for third base?
That bad.
How about Jimmy Rollins overrated for shortstop?
Yeah.
How about Troy Tulowitzki overrated for shortstop?
Troy.
And you're looking at Derek Jeter.
He played for like a century, man. Didn't he just retire this year?
And you have Chapman. Chapman overrated as closer. The guy won a World Series with 2 different teams, didn't he?
Yes.
He won with the Cubs. Did the Yankees? No, the Yankees didn't win. I'm sorry. Did they?
He was on the team when they won, didn't they? 2016? No? What year was
that? They won back then?
What year was that?
Did they win? I don't know.
I thought they did. I don't know. They win so often. Who knows? So, yeah, I figured you would kind of like that. This guy says John Franco, overrated. Who's apparently his entrance music was Johnny Be Good.
Probably.
But you can't mess with the Francos, man. That
bothers me less than David Wright or Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I don't know. So, check it out on Deadspin if you're interested. You're the baseball big stack guy, so I definitely wanted to. That's why I was saving that one and not telling you what it was, because I knew you'd have a field day with the David Wright thing.
Yeah, because I was just listening to Mike Francesa talk about David Wright on his show like a week ago. And he was going through all the numbers for every year. And he's like, basically someone called and said, how good would David Wright have been? Or like, how great of a career would he have had if he had not gotten injured and played till he was like 40
or 38 even, right?
And he's going through the numbers. He's like, look at him. Every year he hit 325 home runs, 100 RBI every year from the age of 22. until 27. And then 27 is when you go in your prime, and that's when he started to get injured.
Yeah, and it's really a shame to see because we lived it. I saw the decline; it was horrible. But he could have been one of the best ever. So
he spent his whole prime being injured, and then he retired.
because
So,
he couldn't do it anymore. Right. So do you think
but
it's
from the
fair to
time he was,
multiply his stats by 2?
no, I don't think it's
Well,
fair.
no, but
But from
I
the
mean
time
there.
he was 21 to 26 or 7, the guy had crazy awesome years.
Right.
Like, okay, you're on the team with Carlos Beltran, bro. His years, like I can't. It's not even because I'm looking at his average. I'm looking at his home runs, his RBI. If you go and look at his on base percentage, he had 1 year 416, 388. His second year in the majors, he had an on base percentage of 388,
That's nuts.
416, 390, 390, 391. Basically, David Wright is not overrated. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking there. But we'll have the article in the episode description. Check it out. I do like Deadspin a lot. I don't look at a lot of sports blogs and stuff like that as much as you probably do, but definitely respect the Deadspin people. They do some good work. So
I won't be checking it out after that. I'm
whoa.
not inclined.
But if
If
any
I
of them's
if I
listening, we're happy to have a discussion. I'll sit back and let you do your work, but that's kind of where that is. I don't know if you wanted to go to the NBA topic or not.
No, let's wrap it up.
Or is
We
it
can
not even
save.
worth talking about? All right. So, yeah. So I guess we'll leave that one. So, yeah, this, we'll have a couple other things to kind of talk about here. Be sure to check us out. Our website, it's newbperspective.com. Just, the same way the podcast is spelled. On Twitter at Newb Perspective without the E at the end of the word perspective. This is taken by somebody else. Very good. Definitely appreciate if you are listening to the show. Stay subscribed to the show. New episodes are going to be coming out a lot more regularly for sure. Give us a rating if you like. I will say too, on our website there's a page that's going to have every single distribution platform that we're on, and the links will take you right to it. So whether you use Apple or Google Podcasts or Spotify, or want to listen on YouTube, because we're also on YouTube too. I put these on YouTube as well. So whatever you prefer, we're kind of doing it on there. And if there's one that you like to hear us on that you use, it's pretty much like every one I've ever heard of. Feel free to let us know. Yeah, that's about all I have there. Anything else that you want to say before we get going here?
Nope, just fuck Deadspin.
Wow. Okay, that's a little harsh. So yeah, a lot more to come from us. Some gaming news coming up in the next couple of weeks as we do the replacement E3 thing. Happy to hear anybody's feedback. There's lots of ways to do that on the website, YouTube comments, reviews. We're gonna look into getting some guests going here. If you're somebody,
Flippy B, what up?
yeah. If you're somebody that uses, check out our link.
Deadspin people, what up? I'm sorry about what I said
You
earlier.
You gotta tweet them and tell them to listen. There you go. That might be a good idea. If you follow the link on our website to the Anchor platform, which is what we use to record, there's actually a way to leave a voice message. So if anybody's interested in doing that, we're happy to take voice comments as well. And maybe we'll do some cool stuff as far as audience participation in the future. If you like what you heard, feel free to share the show. But I think that's all from me. Anything super last minute to add?
Not at all.
All
Thank
right.
you all for listening. We love you all.
And we'll see you
Except
next time.
Deadspin.
See you next time.